Next, trigger group. Yeah, baby, the trigger group. Again, he does a great job showing the trigger group. I mean, he breaks them all out. So you got the trigger spring, you got the hammer spring, and then he calls it the fire control group. Oh, I call it a lot of things, let me tell you. And you know, he shows how easily the springs snap on, and it wasn't that bad. And he warned caution on the hammer spring. It's kind of stout. So I went to put the lower trigger in, and to my surprise, the lower trigger, where this milled opening is, he showed it with the release and just dropping in, just slick as could be. You know, trigger fell in, and then putting a pin in, and you can see there's the pin. I mean, he showed how to use a punch to first line it up, and he pushed with his finger just effortlessly. Well, the first thing I ran into, and I bought an arrow trigger group, so I didn't have to do any fit. It wouldn't fit in the slot, fellas. My lower trigger assembly, the bosses on the side were too big. I couldn't get it to fit. So I had to file and sand and file and sand and try and retry and file and sand. And of course, to do that, you gotta go get file, you gotta go get sandpaper, and we're at. And a nice freezing cold garage. But I learned this time to put my coat on. And yeah, it didn't go like his video. But again, wonderful detail. And I got it to drop in, and the pin, and I had to tap it slightly. And after, I lost time monkeying with it between finding a file and the emery paper I wanted, and but I got it in. So then it was like, wow, what kind of issues am I going to have with the hammer here? You know, and the hammer had no clearance issues. That's one stout spring. Buddy, he must have like $6 million claw. I mean, the pinch force must be huge. Because in the video, you know, he gave a lot of details on where you put the spring at behind the pin and how you push the pin down, and he warned you, you know, it's going to be a tight spring. And I got it in, and I got a drip pin going, and then next I got the other pin, and I went through one side of went right through, man, right where it should, one side of the receiver, got into the hammer assembly, then I went to get into the other side of the receiver. Oh no, buddy, it didn't. The pin fell out and it wouldn't. So I'm pushing, wiggling, using my thumb on this hammer, you know, pushing it down, doing, I think my thumb's still sore. But I got it. So then I did the test. Yeah, there it is, safety's on fire. Oh yes, in this too, he talks about, you know, you put your safety in without the spring, and to test the trigger mechanism. And as you'll be able to see, there it is. You don't want to slam back, but it does. It do work. After a lot of encouragement, resting my muscles and my fingers and thumbs. So, and I know that his video is a how-to, but sometimes it's nice to hear a video of, this is the how-to, but you might run into this issue. And if you do, this is what you need to do and need to understand, and pull in some patience. So the trigger assembly, it got installed. Next was the, right here, the takedown pin. Now the takedown pin, if you can see, he did a nice job here of pointing out where the pin is. Once again, beautiful job showing the parts first. These are all the parts you're going to use. This is the spring, this is the detent, the size, this is your pin, and a lot of helpful instructions on how to put the spring in, put the detent in, push in with the punch. Then reach in with your tweezers and remove the punch, but hold the detent so the spring and detent don't go, jumping out and you're hunting all over your kitchen floor for it. And so tweezers, man, I have had these tweezers forever in my Kennedy toolboxes. I mean, I was visualizing right where they're at, what drawer, and I went out there, and guess what? They're not there. Oh, I figured, well, I didn't grab my coat that time because I was sure they were there. So I came in and got my coat, and I looked through 4 different toolboxes and drawers, and man, what in the world? Where did them things go? You know, it isn't that I use them a lot. Couldn't find them. And I was like, wow, well, you know, I got a new safety Band-Aid, kit, first aid kit. I bet they have tweezers. I went in there. Yeah, they did. Yes, sirree. Plastic. Little plastic tweezers. Oh, kept hunting and hunting. Excuse me. There's another drawer I have in the kitchen. Some call it a junk drawer. I call it thank you drawer. Tweezers. Right there. So I went and I didn't go. The lower parts kit came with a pistol grip I didn't like. I went with this style. It's an ergo grip. I like the base. Now my concern was, he was again explaining the difference between AR-10, AR-15, and this is, and again, an excellent job showing here's the spring and detent for the safety, and here's the spring and detent for the other takedown pin. And he showed the assembly. So I figured, oh man, and how on the bottom of the grip one has a hole, one side doesn't, and I'm thinking, I don't know if what I bought is really compatible with this. I thought it was. So I went and I said, well, let me try their grip. I'm going to put their grip on and slide it over to machining, and guess what? Test fitted. It wouldn't go. It wouldn't even begin to slide over. So I went and got this out, and it just slid over, fit beautiful like a glove. And I was like, wow. I looked underneath, and it had the holes for the spring right where it needed to be, and had the one where it wasn't supposed to be, wasn't there. Boy, I was getting some reprieve from the trigger group. Set it up, put it in. Long Allen screw goes all the way down here. I found every T-handle Allen wrench, I think, in my town, but not the right size. And I remember taking some to work, putting them in my toolbox, and I probably took the one I needed to work. And I hunted, and I hunted, and I hunted, and hunted, and hunted. Oh man. So I finally came up with the Allen wrench that would reach in and do the job. My fingers were froze. digging around that icy cold garage. So I had to come in, warm up, have some coffee. I put it on, bolted it up. It worked. I mean, the takedown pin worked fine. Safety, I had it. I'm sure I had it in the fire position, but even now the safety is, man, it's tough. I mean, it takes some encouragement. You gotta, I don't know. You can see it. You can hear it click. And it works. I mean, the hammer's not coming back. There it goes. It ain't too bad. It just had to free up. Now the safety's off. I'll hold the hammer so it doesn't come flying back. And you can see the hammer came back. So that went well. I was rocking and rolling. It was like, okay, buddy, I'm glad I got this other grip. Otherwise, I'd been filing and sanding again, and not a happy camper. So then the buffer tube. Yes. Did you see that? I just took that apart. I went with the rifle buffer tube and the buffer tube detent in there, if you can see. Buffer tube, spring and detent again. He did a nice job showing parts, what you're going to do, and explain the difference with this buffer tube. And that was it for that series. Well, I bought me a different stock, and it just bolts on. If you see that flat. I got too many things in my hands. Hold on. We gotta stand. Okay, and there is drilled out for, yes, a flathead screw. There we have it. And you slide it over and you bolt it to the end of the buffer tube. Also, he explained how on the buffer tube you have a notch, an embossment, and this is where this little wrench came in handy on the lower. So you see this profile here. This one right here matched the end of the tube where you can tighten it up. I'm rocking and rolling. It's like the lower's pretty much done, and I slid this on. Yeah, I had a screwdriver to be able to put that on, no issue. Put the cover back on. Here's the cover that goes over the stock. Well, I got thinking, this is the next morning. So last night I'm going over my head the build process. What things went good with the lower build, what things I struggled with. And I'm sure others out there, it doesn't go just like that video. I'm sure these guys and Chris have practiced and rehearsed and put a lot of time in putting that video out there, which I truly appreciate, because it was very detailed and was extremely helpful. Well, on this other video, he has putting the stock on, and he talks about this screw right here at the end of the buffer tube should be vented that should be vented. There's no hole through there, fellas. Nothing. And it should be vented to allow the gas to escape. So this morning I took it out so I don't forget. I don't have one. I'm gonna have to get one. I don't know, I might be able to drill it. These things are typically hardened. You usually have to bring them back, kneel them a little. But, you know, I'll just wait till I go to Brownells. You imagine what the shipping cost would be for the cost of one little screw with a hole in it. So the next will be the upper build. I started looking at stuff and getting concerned. You know, they talked about the gas tube block, dimpling the gas tube, dimpling the barrel for the gas tube block. And I like long barrels, so I got the longest barrel I could find for a 308. This is 22 and a half. Yep, I paid up for this one. So I'm watching these videos of different people dimpling their barrels for the gas block, different methods. There's a guy in Minnesota that actually has jigs, and it's like, wow, man, that's something I got to do in my garage. It's going to be cold. So I went and I took the cover off my barrel, and what do you see? There is a dimple. Yes. See, when you pay up, you work out. So the only thing I might do, there's only one dimple, and my gas block's not 3/4, it's 875. I have the 2 set screws. So what I'll do is use the first one to keep it in place. Then I got a transfer punch, and I'll go in and mark the other and put a second dimple. I mean, there's been some people that even pin their gas block, but I will do the second one. Yeah, maybe I can get, since I'm just, you know, it's just a hand drill, you're not really drilling the hole, making a big mess. Might be able to do it here in the kitchen. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna work on next, is doing the upper. Yeah, I started panicking. I saw this gas block, and they're like, wow, there's no pin in there for pinning the gas tube. I was like, what? Oh man, just one delay after another. I thought I had everything. Well, I got a real nice metal, I can't even pronounce it, but it's stainless steel rifle length gas tube. And in it, that little package, you see that little speck, that's the pin. So I'm in good shape. This was from Spike Tactical. So I am mellow nited. It's like nitrided is a coating that's on the stainless. So fortunately, on some of this stuff, when I decided to pay up, I'm gonna see the benefits when it comes to assembly. Yeah, this is 1 1/8 twist, 22 and a half long, stainless steel. I believe it's chrome lined. I looked at so many. I'm not sure on that one, but It's a nice one. You can tell it's quality made. Well, I'm gonna go. I just wanted to give you an update. I tried to keep this short, and I may have to edit some out, who knows. We'll show you how the upper goes. Maybe I can actually give you some action shots of something actually going right, you know, something disassembling properly. We'll see you next time on building the upper receiver. I'll talk to you later. Bye.